Why do we find more quality of life in our minds than external events? Life is a valley of tears. None of us can pass through it without pain and sorrow. But when we reflect on the streams that spring from the tears that so indeed flow to the sea, and the rain of tears that pours down our lives, we realize that these tears are not only hidden in our fates, but are embodied in our understanding of the power of enduring through our passage through this vast valley. There are two ways to live life. One is to experience yourself as a victim of the circumstances of this great tragedy that life can be, or to see life as a lesson, an occasion to improve ourselves and find peace with life and existence. When I think about my life, I have tried many things, just like all human beings in this world. It had become so bad that my heart gave up. After the heart attack, my response was to investigate my own weaknesses. At the time, it was mostly my finances that bothered me, and I decided to take a fresh approach, learning about money management and the stock market. This study led me to pay my debts in 2 years and gave me the strength to rise after falling from grace. About 3 years ago, I was going to Istanbul, but stopped in Oslo overnight. It was a cold January, and I had little to do in the hotel room, so I walked. I found a Mexican restaurant and had something nice to eat, and then I found a large bookstore. Usually when I go to bookstores, I look at the philosophy section first. I came across a book that caught my attention, The Daily Stoic Journal by Ryan Holiday, and I bought it. A few minutes later, in the hotel room, I looked through it and noticed that every page had a question that encouraged the reader to think of a Stoic question and answer it on the book's pages. I started writing with a pen and liked the experience. But a few days later, I found that I had yet to write as regularly as I would have liked. I thought about it a bit and then made a folder in Google Drive for these writings, made a document for every question in the book, marked it with a date, and started writing a diary entry every day, and I've done that ever since. After I finished all the questions that interested me from the journal, I started making my own based on whatever I was reading. These days, if I don't write an entry in the morning, I won't go to bed until it's done. It's like brushing my teeth. I always find time. Now, I have found another desire. I want to write a novel, but it takes so much time to write the diary entries that I find it challenging to find time to do it. But still, I intend to do it. The idea is to keep writing these entries every morning, but after work to write something for my novel. However, doing so can prove more difficult now because I have many projects in progress, and I realize that some sacrifices must be made. These journal entries have helped me communicate daily, not only with my own mind, but also with the great conversation of philosophers who have walked this valley of tears through the centuries, both those still on their way and those who have long since finished this trek. This writing helped me cope with the evacuation from our town due to earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, and a buildup of magma underneath the town. Perhaps when we have settled into a new house and I have a new office, I will find the needed balance to write the story of what happened during these momentous months. How the joy of a tourist volcano turned into terror. How the valley of pleasure turned into a valley of tears. I want to write about overcoming such events by focusing on our inner strength and minds and how we can learn from them.